guys, welcome back to English Notes by EJ. Today we will check lesson 7, the question word what. So let's get started. Now, we use the question word what to ask questions about things or objects. For example, what bus, what university, what box. Now, let's use it in context with the demonstratives this and that. For example, we can ask the question, what is this? It is a glass or it's a glass. Now, we are using the question word what because we are asking a question about an object. We use this because that object is near, and we use the verb to be is because it is singular. And remember that when asking questions with the verb to be goes before the subject, and we use only the last question word. Now, the demonstratives, this, that, this, and those can be used only once to identify the object. Once the object it is identified, we substitute it for a pronoun. So in this case, we use the pronoun it. And the answer is, it is a glass, or with a contraction, it's a glass. Now, both sentences are correct, but in this video, we will be practicing with contractions, okay? Now, let's see another example. For example, the question, what is that? It is a cup or it's a cup. One more time, we're using the question word what because we are asking a question about an object. We use that because the object is far away. We use is because the object is singular, and the verb to be goes before the subject when asking questions. In this case, we substitute that for the pronoun it, and we say it is a cup, or with a contraction, it's a cup. Remember, both sentences are correct, okay? Now, let's practice. Please repeat after me. What is this? It's a sandwich. What is that? It's a plate. What is this? It's an apple. What is that? It's a box. What is this? It's a bus. What is that? It's a glass. Now, let's practice, or let's see the demonstratives, these and those, with the question word what. Now, for example, we can ask, what are these? They are glasses, or they are glasses. Now, pay attention. One more time, we're using the question word what because we are asking questions about an object. Now, we use these because the object is plural. So in that case, we use the verb to be are, and the verb to be goes before the subject because we are asking a question. Now, these and those are substituted by the pronouns they because we are talking about plural objects. So the answer will be they are glasses, or the contraction they are glasses, okay? Now let's see another example. For example, the question, what are those? They are cups. They are cups. Now, one more time, we are using the question word what because we are asking questions about objects. We use those because the objects are far away. And we use are because the objects are in plural. And remember, the verb to be goes always before the subject when asking questions. Now, we substitute the word those with the pronoun they. So we say they are cups, or the contraction they are cups. Remember, in this video, we will be practicing with contractions, okay? So now, let's practice, and please repeat after me. What are these? They are sandwiches. What are those? They are plates. What are these? They are apples. What are those? They are boxes. What are these? They are buses. What are those? They are glasses. Okay, now let's summarize what we saw today in the class. Now, we use the question word what to ask questions about objects, okay? Now, we use the word this when the object is near and it's singular. And remember, we use the verb to be before the subject when asking questions, okay? Also, we use the word what when asking questions with that. We use that when the object is far away. And one more time, we use the verb to be because both objects are singular and the verb to be goes always before the subject. And in the answer, we substitute this and that for the word it. So we say it's a cup. Okay? Now, let's summarize the plural ones. Now, we use what to ask questions about plural objects. For example, what are these? We use these because the objects are near and they are plural. We use are because the objects are plural, and remember that the verb to be goes always before the subject when asking questions. Or we can ask, what are those? We use those because the objects are far away. We use are because they are plural, and the verb to be goes before the subject when asking questions. Now, in this case, we substitute the words these and those with the word they when answering. So we say their cups. Now, do you have any questions? Please remember that if you have any questions, recommendations, suggestions, or any comments about my videos, please leave a message under the comment section. Now, let's do it in Spanish. Bienvenidos nuevamente a English Notes by EJ. Hoy vamos a checar la lección número 7, the question word what. Entonces, empecemos. Ok. Usamos la palabra what para preguntar por cosas u objetos. Por ejemplo, what bus, ¿qué autobús? What university, ¿qué universidad? What box, ¿qué caja? Ahora, vamos a usarlo en contexto con los demostrativos this and that, ¿ok? Por ejemplo, en la pregunta what is this? Responderíamos it is a glass or it's a glass. Ahora, pongan atención, estamos utilizando la palabra what porque estamos preguntando por un objeto. Utilizamos la palabra this porque ese objeto está cerca. Y utilizamos el verbo to be is porque el objeto es singular. Ahora, recuerden que cuando hacemos preguntas con el verbo to be, el verbo tiene que ir antes del sujeto al hacer preguntas. Ahora, algo muy importante. Los demostrativos que vimos la clase anterior, this, that, these, and those, se utilizan únicamente para identificar al objeto. Una vez que este objeto ya está identificado, tenemos que cambiarlo por un pronombre para evitar la repetición. Entonces, en este caso, en la pregunta ya estamos usando this, en la respuesta usamos it. Y podemos decir, it is a glass or it's a glass. Recuerden que ambas oraciones son correctas, la oración completa y la oración con contracción, pero en este video estaremos practicando con las contracciones, ¿ok? Bueno, veamos otro ejemplo. What is that? It is a cup o it's a cup. Ahora, nuevamente, estamos utilizando la pregunta what porque estamos preguntando por un objeto. Utilizamos la palabra that porque el objeto está lejos. Utilizamos el verbo to be is porque el objeto es singular. Y recuerden que cuando hacemos preguntas, el verbo to be va siempre antes del sujeto, que en este caso es that. Y recuerden que this, that, these, and those se usan solamente para identificar el objeto. Una vez que el objeto está identificado, cambiamos la palabra that o this por el pronombre it. Y respondemos, it is a cup o it's a cup. Nuevamente, ambas oraciones son correctas, pero en este caso estaremos utilizando la contracción, ¿ok? Bueno, vamos a practicar. Repitan después de mí, por favor. What is this? It's a sandwich. What is that? It's a plate. What is this? It's an apple. What is that? It's a box. What is this? It's a bus. What is that? It's a glass. Ok, ahora practiquemos con los demostrativos these and those. Veamos algunos ejemplos. Por ejemplo, la pregunta, what are these? Responderíamos, they are glasses o their glasses. Ahora, pongamos atención. Utilizamos la palabra what porque estamos preguntando por unos objetos. Utilizamos these porque esos objetos están cerca y son más de uno. Utilizamos are, el verbo to be are, porque estamos hablando de plural y recuerden que el verbo to be va siempre antes del sujeto cuando hacemos preguntas. Por eso queda la pregunta, what are these? Ahora, como vimos anteriormente, los demostrativos this, that, these and those se utilizan solo para identificar el objeto. Una vez que el objeto o los objetos ya están identificados, los cambiamos por un pronombre. En este caso, el pronombre de plurales es they. Entonces decimos their glasses o their glasses. Nuevamente, ambas oraciones son correctas, pero en este video estaremos practicando con las contracciones, ¿ok? Veamos otro ejemplo. What are those? Their cups o they are cups. Their cups, ¿ok? Recordemos, utilizamos la palabra what porque estamos preguntando por objetos. Utilizamos those porque esos objetos están lejos. Utilizamos el verbo to be are porque estamos hablando de plurales y recuerden que el verbo to be va antes del sujeto siempre que hagamos preguntas en inglés. Ahora, sustituimos la palabra those por el pronombre they y responderíamos their cups o con su contracción their cups, ¿ok? Bueno, practiquemos un poco y por favor repitan después de mí. What are these? They are sandwiches. What are those? They are plates. What are these? They are apples. What are those? They're boxes. What are these? They're buses. What are those? They're glasses. ¿Ok? Bueno, vamos a recapitular lo que vimos la clase de hoy. Utilizamos la pregunta what para preguntar por objetos o cosas. Por ejemplo, en la pregunta what is this? ¿Qué es esto? Utilizamos this porque estamos hablando de un objeto que está cerca y es singular. El verbo to be va antes del sujeto cuando hacemos preguntas en inglés. Por lo tanto, la pregunta queda, what is this? Ahora, otra pregunta sería, what is that? Utilizamos that porque el objeto es singular y está lejos. Recordemos nuevamente, el verbo to be va antes del sujeto cuando hacemos preguntas en inglés. Ahora, this and that se utilizan solo para identificar. Una vez que el objeto ya está identificado, lo cambiamos por el pronombre it. Entonces responderíamos, it's a cup. ¿Ok? Recapitulemos ahora el plural. Nuevamente podemos utilizar what para preguntar por objetos en plural. Preguntaríamos, por ejemplo, what are these? Utilizamos these porque estamos hablando de objetos plurales que están cerca. El verbo to be para plurales es are y recuerden que este va antes del sujeto cuando hacemos preguntas. Ahora también lo podemos utilizar con those. What are those? Estamos preguntando qué son esos o esas. Utilizamos those porque los objetos están lejos y utilizamos are porque los objetos están en plural. Nuevamente recuerden, el verbo to be siempre va antes del sujeto cuando hacemos preguntas. Y sustituimos las palabras these and those por el pronombre they. Entonces sustituiríamos y la respuesta sería their cups. ¿Ok? Now, ¿quedó todo claro? Por favor recuerden, si ustedes tienen algún comentario, sugerencia, observación, cualquier cosa que nos quieran decir sobre nuestros videos, bueno, sobre el video, lo apreciaría mucho, lo pueden dejar en la sección de comentarios. Les prometo que leo todos los comentarios y les doy respuesta. ¿Ok? Bueno, thank you for watching. Recuerden que les dejo mi correo electrónico por si quieren mandarme algún mensaje y por favor suscríbanse y denle like al video. Muchísimas gracias, nos vemos en la siguiente. Bye bye.